and maybe this isn't surprising, but JaVale McGee got first nod at the backup center minutes. Looked really good. Kind of seems like I don't see him like. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Brown in the second preseason game swaps it and gives Len those kind of primary backup minutes just to kind of give him an opportunity. Also, wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't because Len didn't get a ton of opportunities last season, and you know, you can never rule out the fact that Mike Brown's going to stick with this guy. And I think Deuce Mason asked him about the backup five, kind of noting the fact that you have JaVale, you got Len, and you have Lyles at the five. And he asked him a good question, like, are you going to stick with one guy? Is it going to be more matchups based, kind of playing the hot hand? What's it going to be? And Mike Brown was like, well, whoever we go with, we're going to go with. And even if we need to make a change, we'll make a change. So
we're going to go with who we go with at the end of the day, and we're going to rock with that. And obviously, I mean, you guys know I'm not afraid to make a change if I need to. And so if I feel like we need to make a change, we will. But it's whatever gut feel we have at that time or whatever success we had in the past versus that team at the time.
Sounds like it's going to be not so much matchups based, that he's going to have a guy in mind. He's going to have a pretty specific rotation in mind and a backup center in mind. But it seems like JaVale kind of has that right now. And he looked pretty good. He, again, moves well as an interior defender, altered some shots. I think he blocked a few. And I think one of the more important things, and I remember last season watching a few preseason games, I think Monk hooked up with Rashawn Holmes on a few alley-oops, and it was like, oh, hey, maybe that could be a nice little like two-man game in the second unit, Monk and Holmes. That obviously never materialized. You couldn't quite get that as much out of Metu. I mean, he can be a lob threat, but he was more of like a dump off, kind of in the dunk spot threat more than anything. But I think Monk hooked up with JaVale in like 2 or 3 alley-oops. And, I think that can kind of be a big help because adding that two-man game element without having to have Sabonis out there, you're not really losing so much in terms of being able to create between the big at the elbow and the primary ball handler being Monk. So that was kind of promising. I think that could be a really good, fruitful combination. I don't see that fizzling out the way. It's not like the Monk-Holmes one fizzled out. It just really never materialized. But
I just feel like JaVale and Monk, like, they're just going to complement each other well in that second unit. If McGee is that first guy off the bench or plays with Monk, they're just higher energy guys, and they're rim runners. Or I mean, McGee's a rim runner and Monk's the ball handler, but they're quick and they're flashy guys too. So I think that's going to be a nice connection we're going to see go into the season for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just terrific. But JaVale, not only is he, again, I mean, I feel like we always got to bring up the multifaceted elements of JaVale McGee. And I think one of the things that we really like about him now is just his interviews. I think he, on media day, he was pretty funny and being himself. And then I think the first question he got asked on Wednesday, because he did some media availability interviews, and Tony Harvey asked him like about his defensive philosophy. And McGee's like, what do you mean by philosophy? And then Harvey was going to explain, and McGee kind of stopped him and was like, my philosophy is stopping the other team from scoring.
Like that. What do you mean my philosophy?
As far as,
stop the other team from scoring. That's my philosophy. Yeah.
It's just like, next question. So JaVale McGee, all business, while also being kind of funny about that. We had questions about McGee. We'll have to see what happens during the season, but I think that whole McGee thing is working out soundly and probably as Mike Brown and Monty McNair wanted to. So that's a good sign.
JaVale Maniac McGee, dude.
The Maniac.
Maniac
JaVale
McGee.
McGee. Yeah.